Live from Madison, Wisconsin, to kick off the 2018 season of Badger football. Wisconsin is gearing up for another year on the gridiron in America's best college sports town. Stay with us for exclusive interviews with Wisconsin sports legends Barry Alvarez and Andy North. From Badger Bash at Union South, just steps from Camp Randall Stadium, Travel Wisconsin presents Live from Badger Gameday.
Welcome, everyone, and hello to all of our Facebook fans. All of us at Travel Wisconsin are thrilled to have you join us in Madison, Wisconsin, live on Facebook to celebrate the start of another year of Badger football. I'm Stephanie Klett, Secretary of the Wisconsin Department of Tourism, and we are live from Union South, just 1 block away from the historic home of the Badgers Camp Randall Stadium. We're surrounded by fans who are ready to jump around at the very first game of the season as we take on Western Kentucky. This place is full of Badger pride. You can hear them back here. They are full of Badger pride. From our football stadiums to our snowmobile trails and our world-class golf courses, Wisconsin is a state that loves sports. And that's what we're celebrating today. We've got some fantastic stories lined up for you, and I'm going to bring out some very special guests, each with a deep connection to our state's great sports tradition. Let us know your favorite sports memory in the comment section. Use hashtag TravelWI or hashtag Badgers, and you could see your comments on our broadcast. Well, our first guest is someone who does not need an introduction. He was head football coach for the Wisconsin Badgers and led his team to 3 Big Ten and Rose Bowl titles, including back-to-back Rose Bowl wins in 1999 and 2000. He continues his winning streak as the Director of Athletics. In his 15 years as director, the University of Wisconsin has won a combined 14-team national titles and 62 conference regular season or tournament crowns. He is the winningest coach in Badger history, inducted into the Rose Bowl Hall of Fame, inducted into the Wisconsin Athletic Hall of Fame, and the College Football Hall of Fame. He is the one, the only, Barry Alvarez. Hey, Coach. I'm so good. How are you?
What a great night.
Oh my gosh, this is so awesome having you here. So last year, the Badgers brought home an Orange Bowl victory. So what can we expect from them this year?
Well, if you take off where we left off, you have a lot of players that came back. You have 3 offensive linemen who could have gone out early and probably been drafted very high in the pros. Many of them were nominated as All-Americans. They decided to come back. I always rate the teams. I like to start with the offensive line. Many have them ranked as the best in the country. So let's just pick up right where we left off and go from there. But I think we have a chance to be a very, very good football team.
Wow, awesome. You heard it here first. So you kind of answered my next question, because heading into the season, there are all these football polls ranking UW-Wisconsin in the top 5 to be a real contender. So you think this is for real?
Well, I think it's real, and the most important thing is the players have embraced it. They're not shying away from it. They know that they can compete with anyone. They were 1 possession away from qualifying for the Final Four last year in the college football playoff. They go down and play a good Miami team at their home field and beat them soundly. A good nucleus coming back. I look for great things with this outfit.
Oh, that's so awesome. So you obviously, with your affiliation with UW as athletic director and coach, you've got to have so many great memories. But give us one of the special memories that you have.
Well, to go to Tokyo, to win a game, to have the opportunity to go to the Rose Bowl for the first time in 31 years was pretty special. That was special, but nothing like winning the Rose Bowl for the first time ever.
That was incredible.
In '94. That was pretty special time for us.
Well, and their team had not been winning for many, many years when you took it over.
Right, and this group of kids, we recruited my first year. I took the job after after January 1st. Basically, had 3 years or 3 weeks to recruit. The guys that we signed were those that were the nucleus the guys that led us to that first Rose Bowl. Pretty neat. We're going to celebrate a 25th year this year at the Nebraska game, so
wow.
It'll be fun to get them all back.
Oh, congratulations. That will be a cool event. So now, do you have any game day traditions or superstitions?
Not really.
No?
You know, I always believe that how you prepare during the week is how you play. So the week preparation was always more important to me. But I always had a certain routine that I took and never varied from it. But to say if I had one special characteristic that I used, no, not really.
You know, I learned something recently I didn't know, that when you're an athlete here, you guys really spend a lot of time with each other. They kind of do everything together. They eat together, study together. What's that about?
Well, you have to build a team. You have to build chemistry. You have to know one another. You have to love one another. You know, I always used to say, you got to be able to look to the guy to your left and right and say, count on me. You can count on me, and so on and so forth. So to have a good team, you have to have chemistry. And you can't have chemistry unless people like one another. And in particular, the team has to take ownership. The leaders of a team have to take ownership of that team. So you can't take ownership if people don't know you.
Okay, one final question, totally not sports related, but right now in Madison is Bucky on parade, and you have a Bucky Badger modeled after you.
It's the best one. It is the best one.
Is it?
Oh,
I have not seen that one.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, you've got to check it out. Let's hear it for Coach Barry Alvarez. Thank you so much. Awesome to have you here.
All right, thank you.
All right, we know he's got to get down for the game, so thanks again, Barry. All right. We've got even more Badger insight from a wonderful sportscaster, Rob Vogel. Rob's been a long-time broadcaster in the Madison area, and you can hear him every morning as co-host of Lucas in the Morning with football radio commentator Mike Lucas. Please welcome Rob Vogel is in the house. All right.
Hi, good to be with you. Yeah, good to see you too.
I love this guy. He's a true pro. Now, we just heard from Coach Alvarez about the team. So are there any Badger fans, or Badger players, I should say, that the fans should look out for this year?
Well, certainly everybody's going to start with Jonathan Taylor, coming off that great freshman season that he had last year. That's where you start with this team, along with the offensive lineman, as Coach Alvarez just mentioned ago. That always starts with them. The quarterback, Alex Hornerbrook, coming off what was a great Orange Bowl performance last year that led him to that victory, throwing for a bunch of touchdowns. Can he have another season and step up and improve upon that one as well? But there are going to be a lot of new faces. You got a defense that's replacing 7 starters from last year. So there's going to be 4 redshirt freshmen possibly that could be starting on this defense last year. And one guy that people probably remember, especially from his performance in the Big Ten Championship game, and he's hard to miss because he's got the long blonde hair, is Andrew Van Ginkel at linebacker. So he's a fun guy for a lot of people to keep their eyes on.
Well, you know, the national spotlight is really on the Badger team. In fact, the offensive line was in Sports Illustrated.
Yes.
So how do we keep the team calm and not too hyped up?
Thankfully, we don't have to do that. We're allowed to all get hyped up and excited about it. That's Paul Chris and the coaching staff's job. And I think that's where they take their lead. It starts with Coach Chris. He's got a team where some players who aren't afraid to talk about their goals, about getting to a Final Four, about winning a Big Ten championship. But as he pointed out a couple of years ago, nobody expected them to do much. And what happened? They ended up in the Big Ten championship game. Last year, they were in the Big Ten championship game. So when they're picking you not to do much and you have success, why would you get caught up in it now when they're picking you to have all the success?
Right.
That old 1-0 mentality, I think they take their lead from their head coach on that.
So is this the best offense that the Badgers have ever had?
Is Coach Alvarez still close by?
No,
Because I don't want to
not.
get in any trouble on this one. I'm sure he's got a few teams like 99 that he'd like to put on that list that were led by Ron Dane. When Paul Chris was the offensive coordinator, they had some historic teams that average over 40 points a game, so they would be high on the list. When Russell Wilson was here in 2011, that one everybody remembers. So the final proof will come obviously in what they do, but it's got a good start with that offensive line that you talked about and Jonathan Taylor. It's got a good place to start.
All right, well, as a play-by-play announcer for Badger hockey, you got to tell me, what can we look forward to this season?
Well, they got another team with some new faces coming in this year. They had a great start with Tony Granato and his coaching staff with Marco Sicchi that first year. Yep. Nearly made the NCAA tournament. Last year had another run that had some talent on it. They're having to replace a lot of guys. So they could score a lot of goals. They might give up a lot of goals too. So they'll be entertaining to watch, but they're going to be one of those teams some young guys are going to need to take that next step and develop rather quickly to have success.
Well, you've been a broadcaster for so many years, and you've covered Super Bowls and Rose Bowls. I know you've got a lot of great memories, but what is one in particular that really sticks out?
Well, one of something that happened in state here was when the PGA Championship came to Whistling Straits, and being able to go up there and see a major championship come to the shores of Lake Michigan in Wisconsin, and that state pride in showing off their golf course. Golf's a big thing, as you know, here in Wisconsin, so that was fun. But if I had to put one other thing on there, it'd be going to that second Final Four when they played in the national championship game. They beat Kentucky, who was undefeated. That's Saturday in Indianapolis. And then on Monday night, the championship game, a sea of red at Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis. That was as big as it could get, as fun as it could get. They say the first time when they went the year before was special for a lot of people, but that second year is the one I'll probably remember the most.
Oh man, that had to be exciting.
It was. There they were, just a whisker away from winning the national championship. Something about 20, 30 years ago, nobody could have thought possible.
Now, a lot of folks out there, you know, they look and say, okay, well, maybe I'm not the greatest person at sports, but I love them.
Right.
You became a sports broadcaster. That is not an easy thing to do.
No.
How did you get there, and any recommendations for people out there or advice on really how to get into something like sports broadcasting? It's just not something we do.
Sure, but it's like anything else. Do you have a passion for that job? If you like that job, it doesn't become a job for you anymore. It's just part of your life. I certainly like that. Have traveled around the Midwest, been in Wisconsin now for over 20 years, and this is my home. So it's something, if you're willing to dedicate, put the time in. And do you like telling stories? As you know, this show, all the things that we do and work on, we're telling other people's stories most of the time. Do you like people? Do you like sports? And are you interested in telling stories and bringing those to viewers like here tonight?
Now, how's the game day experience differ for someone like me, your average fan,
right,
versus someone like you coming at it with such a sports background and as a broadcaster?
Yeah, well, we're here early because you've got to beat the traffic, you know, so you to get here, get set up, and then you're here late covering the games and you're talking to the players afterwards. Hopefully they're a little happier after a win and you're talking to them, so it's a long day. But you see the party, you get a sense of the atmosphere, and you know how special this place is in coming here to Camp Randall. It's unique. I've gone and covered a lot of road games. There are some special places, but very few that compare to this.
Well, and we've got folks tuned in from around the planet.
Yep.
How do you describe to them the feel of a Badger game if they've never been here?
It is a big party that, oh, by the way, a game is happening. This is an excuse to party for about 4 or 5 hours. I mean, at Lambeau, when you're in Green Bay, you're in the parking lot pretty much tailgating. Yeah. Here, you are all over town. You could be on State Street. You could be here right next to Camp Randall Stadium. Wherever you are, the party is going on, that's for sure.
That is absolutely right on the money. So, Rob, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Great to see you. Appreciate it, Brad. Good to see you again.
You too. Thank you so much. We are all looking forward to an exciting season. Yeah, let's hear it for Rob. And as we speak, fans are filling into Union South and counting down until game time. Let's get a live look at the crowd of Badger fans. Let's check it out. Oh, look at that. All right. You're going to see a whole lot more Sea of Red in just a few minutes, but folks have been filing in. And what's neat about the Badger game experience, of course, playing Western Kentucky, we're going to have a lot of Kentucky folks here in Wisconsin, which we love hosting. TravelWisconsin.com, of course, you know, for all your travel information. But Badger fans are beginning to come in. The band will be coming shortly, and it is just an electric experience. Love this. Love seeing the red. All right. So we'll have even more Badger sports interviews coming up. In the meantime, we're excited to welcome another Wisconsin native who has gone on to create a big splash in the world of golf. Please welcome three-time PGA Tour winner with 2 U.S. Open championships, Andy North. Hey, it is so great to have you here, Andy.
This is awesome.
Oh my gosh, look I'm just hanging with Andy North. It feels good. Well, you've played some of the best courses in the world. What makes Wisconsin courses some of the best on the planet?
Well, we've been really fortunate that we've had great courses in Wisconsin for 100 years. Some of the old courses in Milwaukee and Madison and Janesville have been fantastic. But in the last 20 years, some of the new additions from Kohler to Erin Hills to Sand Valley, places like that, has been fantastic. And it gives everybody a chance to play some really good golf courses. And on top of that, the historical older courses in the state are very reasonable. So it's a great value to come to Wisconsin to play golf.
Yeah, it really is. Now, you're not just a golfer, but you've had your hand in designing some courses like Trapper's Turn in Wisconsin Dells and the Brown Deer course. So how does designing a golf course differ from when you're actually a player on it?
Well, I think that's probably as much fun as I've had in all the things that I've been able to do over the last 40 or 50 years. You start with a blank canvas, which is a piece of property, and then you just come up with some ideas, and hopefully it works. And we've had a lot of fun doing it, and it's nice when the courses turn out well, and people want to keep going back and playing there. That's the whole key.
Now, I won't put you on the spot for an answer, but do you have a favorite course in the state of Wisconsin?
Well, they're like your children. If you were to say one was your favorite, you'd get in a lot of trouble. No, we're just fortunate that we've got tons of great golf here, and as you know, that our summer's not the longest summer, so when people get into it, they play a lot of golf and play at it hard, which is great.
That is the truth. When you drive around right now, every course is packed.
That's right.
And of course, Wisconsin is getting ready to host the Ryder Cup in 2020, and you've been a part of the Ryder Cup. One, you got to tell me what that experience is like.
Well, anytime you get to represent your country, it's pretty special, and I'm an emotional wimp, and when you get to the first tee and they announce you representing the United States of America and they play the national anthem and all that, you lose it completely. So it's really a thrill. It's a great bonding experience with the guys on the team. You play against them all the time, and now you get a chance to be their partners, which is really fun. And I just think the whole atmosphere of the event is really special.
It's electric.
Yeah, it's going to be great in 2020, and we don't know who the captain's going to be yet, but there's a really good chance it might be Steve, which would be that'd be pretty special.
That would be incredible.
Yeah.
So what advice would you have for the future Ryder Cup players coming to Whistling Straits? As they tee off, what's your advice for them?
Well, you better bring it. You better play well, or your partner's not going to be very happy with you. But it's a wonderful golf course that so much depends on the conditions that you play at. You can play Whistling Straits on days that it's pretty easy. Then the very next day, you get the fog coming in, the wind blowing 20 miles an hour. It's a totally different golf course. So I think there you have to be prepared for just about anything that could happen.
Well, you are so wonderful with the charities that you help out, but you created Andy North and Friends, and that really is geared towards the UW Carbone Cancer Center. Why did you start that?
Well, I think for years and years, we've been involved in doing a lot of golf events for a lot of other charities, and my wife and I decided it was time for us to do one where we wanted the money to go and we could control where the money was going. We both had parents that died of cancer. We both have had cancer. So it was just an automatic. Paul Carbone was a really good friend, been involved there for a lot of years, and it just made a lot of sense, and the community has gotten behind it, and we've raised a lot of money.
Well, you are an incredible person, incredible golfer. Ladies and gentlemen, the fantastic Wisconsin Athletic Hall of Famer, Andy North.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Andy.
Thanks a lot.
You are awesome. Wisconsin is home to world-class golf and tournaments like the U.S. Open, the PGA Championships, and the 2020 Ryder Cup. Next up, we have a video where you can hear from the course designers and pros at Whistling Straits, Erin Hills, and Sand Valley about what makes these courses some of the best in the world.
I would rank Wisconsin as the #1 golf destination in the United States.
Wisconsin is a golfer's paradise.
Wisconsin, I think right now, is the #1 golf destination in this country and becoming a great destination internationally.
What you see now when you're looking at destination golf is that authentic experience.
We have some great plaques in our clubhouse, these great names that have been around golf. The U.S. Open was very, very successful. We were told by the tour players it's the best greens they've seen in 40 years at a U.S. Open.
The Ryder Cup is a Super Bowl of golf. It's the culmination of everything the state has done to host major championships. There's no bigger event in golf.
We've taken the state, which was already elite in golfing terms, and we've elevated it one more notch.
They're coming from all over the world now.
Sand Valley is so special because the dunes are mammoth, the fairways are huge, the greens are...
The one thing that really captivates people when they first come here is the dramatic coastline. People just, their jaws drop when they step onto the tees.
Or Erin Hills, the views, they're spectacular. Millions of years ago, the glaciers came and designed this golf course. But people just can't believe the views.
Genuine Midwest hospitality, second to none.
People will go out of their way beyond anywhere else I might have been in the world.
We want them to leave here saying, wow, this place is awesome.
Golf is really a metaphor for life. The mental challenge, it's a game you cannot beat. You cannot defeat it. You just try to improve every time.
It's just you and the cup at the other end.
We're in the same business to bring people from all around the world to the state of Wisconsin. And you got to get here and play these bucket list golf courses.
Jason Mengel, director of the 2020 Ryder Cup, to tell us about the Super Bowl of golf. Yes, Jason was also the championship director for the 2015 PGA Championship at Whistling Straits. Let's welcome Jason, everybody. It's so good to have you here.
Well, it's good to be back in Wisconsin.
Oh, it's nice to have you. So how is the Ryder Cup different from other golf tournaments?
Yeah, if you guys had watched Andy North beforehand, I think he summed it up perfectly. It's 12 of the best players from Europe, 12 of the best players from USA, and they're playing for pride of country. And I think that same sentiment is not just shared by contestants, but also from spectators and viewers around the world.
So I imagine because you are playing for pride of country, that it gets a little more emotional.
Absolutely, and you think of like the players on the first tee, you know, that atmosphere on the first tee is really unlike anything else in golf.
What's it like?
Well, it's actually a little bit like what's out here right now, or what you might see at the stadium later. It is energetic, it is passionate, flags waving, chants going back and forth, really unlike anything else in golf, but it is that component of playing for your country, which energizes the crowd.
Well, you know, what does it mean for Wisconsin as a state to be host to the Ryder Cup?
Yeah, you think of like the next 4 Ryder Cup host sites. Paris this year, Wisconsin, Rome, Italy, and New York, New York. That's pretty elite company. Now, certainly we all know how great Wisconsin is, but it's a great chance for us to show the rest of the world how great we are.
You know what? And I tell you, when you see Whistling Straits, it is such a spectacular course. In fact, so I wanted to ask you, because I know in 2015, for the PGA Championship, they had it manicured a certain way. Will it change for the 2020 Ryder Cup?
Yeah, I think the biggest difference from a playability standpoint will be that the captains actually have a role in setting up the golf course. You know, typically for a PGA Championship, Kerry Haig, who's our Chief Championship Officer, he takes it with really not a lot of input from the players. But this time you got the captains who will weigh in. And outside of that, you know, what we're doing right now, even 2 years out, from a setup standpoint to make it easier to spectate, easier for our corporate clients to get around, I think that'll be a big difference you'll notice as well.
Awesome. So what are you doing now? Because I know you're already in Wisconsin preparing for this. What are you doing now to prepare for 2020?
Yeah, we've already been here for almost a year,
wow.
Which is hard to believe. But in that last year, you know, we've done first couple drafts of site plans. We put together our host committee. We put together our staff. We've set our strategy for ticket sales and volunteers. And obviously, we're getting ready to roll out corporate to the world.
Well, I was going to say, you kind of answered this question. What are some of the things, you know, people would never think about in putting this tournament together?
Well, yeah, if you've been to the Straits course or really any major championship, you know that we're constructing a small city actually to be there for that week. And, you know, unlike the Badgers here, we've got that city that'll be operational for 7 days and then we'll tear it all back down. And, you know, we're actually building over 1 million square feet. And so to put that into perspective, you know, the Amazon Fulfillment Center down in Kenosha is 1 million square feet. So imagine that dropped into the middle of the Straits course.
Wow. So I have had friends and family members go to the Ryder Cup. They say it's a fan experience. You got to paint a picture of that fan experience for me, because they weren't good verbalizing it, but they were going crazy. Like, they were just wild over how much fun it was.
Yeah, I think the big difference is, you know, we go to a PGA Championship or the U.S. Open, and you may be rooting for Tiger, I may be rooting for Phil, but when the Ryder Cup comes to town, you know, more than likely we're both rooting for the United States, or we're there with our friends who are rooting for Team Europe, and that dynamic really creates a special atmosphere.
Oh, I am so excited for this. Now, how can folks get tickets to the Ryder Cup?
Yeah, if you're interested in attending, you can go to RyderCup.com, and on the right rail, there's actually an interest forum for 2020. And whether your interest is tickets, volunteers, or corporate hospitality, you just check the box and we'll be in contact.
Okay, so I wanted to ask you this question. For people who aren't big golfers, you know, maybe they watch it every now and then, but they don't know a lot about it. what would you say to them on why they have to check out the Ryder Cup?
Yeah, I'd say first of all, outside of all the factors that we've talked about, it's really a once-in-a-generation opportunity. To think of ticket sales for the Ryder Cup really only being available through a random draw process. How many sporting events or events in life do we ever have where that's the case? And then it's really just that atmosphere on site. It's only held in the United States once every 4 years, so it is that unique opportunity to come out and see the best players in the world and cheer on your country.
Okay, you mentioned that after it's in Wisconsin, before it's Paris this year, Wisconsin, then Rome. So are these countries all trying to outdo each other and show off?
They are. So whatever bar gets set by the French in a couple weeks, we're going to need to exceed that here in Wisconsin.
Now, will you be out in Paris?
Yeah, we're going to go there. We're going to take some notes. It's a rough assignment to have to go to France, but we'll go take some notes. We're going to actually get handed a silver putter, which will then be on display somewhere on the Destination Kohler campus.
So what's the silver putter mean? I'm not familiar with that.
Yeah, you think of it that the host site for those 2 years that they're hosting the Ryder Cup, they've got that on display, and really it helps celebrate and tie a little bit of the history of who else has hosted the Ryder Cup.
Okay, one of the things I was surprised about when I was reading all about you is that when there is a Ryder Cup in the USA, you have to move to that area with your family. What is that like, and how long are you living in a new place?
Well, you noted earlier that we were here for the 2015 PGA Championship, so our move back to Wisconsin was the easiest move that we've ever made. And, our family, our kids, we have 3 young kids, we absolutely love it here. So kudos to everybody who's making this so hospitable for us.
Well, and of course, Kohler, as the host town and community, such a charming place. What is it you like about Kohler?
Well, first of all, the sentiment and the energy that gets set right from the top, whether it's Mr. Kohler, obviously, or David Kohler, our general chair, they have one goal, and that's for us to host the best Ryder Cup that we can, and certainly that permeates everything we do. From a personal standpoint, it's the schools, it's it's close enough to Milwaukee and Green Bay that you can have those big city amenities, but you still have a small town atmosphere.
All right, I have to ask you, all right, we'll be cheering on Team USA, but are there 1 or 2 teams that are going to give us a lot of heat?
Well, I think this year it's Team USA is the favorite on paper, but we've still got to go play the matches. So who knows what's going to happen this year? But I expect us to continue to have a strong Ryder Cup team well into the future, and certainly in 2020.
Okay, because it does seem like whenever I watch the Ryder Cup, these folks are coming in from kind of some obscure countries. I mean, I haven't heard of that country before, but I'm excited for Team USA to take it home. And again, give us that ticket information.
Yeah, RyderCup.com. And right rail, you'll see all the links to 2020 information.
Well, we are so excited for the Ryder Cup. I cannot thank you enough for being here. Everybody, let's hear it for the fabulous Jason. He does an awesome job. You rock.
Well, thank you for having me.
Oh my gosh, it's just an absolute pleasure. Oh, and I hear you have some hats for us.
We do.
Hang on. Let me show everybody what these hats look like. Oh my gosh, check out these. This is like Ryder Cup 2020. This is the real deal. Are you going to pass this out? Oh my gosh, throw him in the crowd. Let's check it out. Oh, there he goes. Oh, I love it. Hey, I think that was my brother. He's going to have to give that back. Sorry. All right. Oh, I think he's more of a hit than Barry Alvarez right now. But how exciting to have the 2020 Ryder Cup in Wisconsin. Oh my gosh, thank you, Jason. I love it. All right, this is just exciting. And now to have the official hat from Wisconsin is a thrill. So now golf fans looking to get tickets to the Ryder Cup, you can go to RyderCup.com, but you can also enter our Road to the Ryder Cup sweepstakes. So head to TravelWisconsin.com to enter for your chance to win 2 Sunday passes to the 2020 Ryder Cup at Whistling Straits, a Ryder Cup swag bag, and a dining certificate to a Sheboygan area restaurant. Now the sweepstakes runs through April 5th, 2019. And we are looking forward to welcoming all the players and fans from around the world to Wisconsin for the 2020 Ryder Cup. And thanks to all of our Facebook fans for tuning in right now. We're having a blast out here at today's Badger Bash. Now be sure to post your own Badger Game Day memories and experiences in the comment section on our Facebook page. And use hashtag TravelWI and hashtag Badgers to share your game day experiences. We'll be sharing some of the comments during the rest of the broadcast. Well, today is the Badger Salute to Veterans Game. It's an annual event that commemorates active military personnel as well as veterans from all parts of Wisconsin. Veterans do so much for our country. And now recently, the state of Wisconsin has launched a special campaign that aims to help military vets transition into civilian life. So it is my pleasure to welcome a friend, Vice President of the Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation, Tricia Braun, retired First Sergeant U.S. Marine Corps, Timothy Lesage, and former Sergeant U.S. Marine Corps, Andrew Wentworth, who will tell us more about the national marketing campaign to encourage military personnel to choose Wisconsin as a place to live and work. Well, first of all, welcome all of you. I know you had a long trip in. Yeah. So now tell us about, you had a recent marketing campaign that launched just last week for veterans. Yes. Tricia, tell us about that.
Absolutely. Last Friday, we announced our Veterans Talent Attraction campaign. 200 to 250,000 veterans transition out of the military each year, and those folks are looking for jobs and a great place to live, and chances are Wisconsin has exactly what they're looking for. So we're reaching out to them and we're talking about the companies and the opportunities and what Wisconsin has to offer to those folks.
Well, you have several different elements to this campaign. Tell us how it's how it works.
Absolutely. This is, not just your traditional marketing campaign. This is actually us, and these guys can talk a little bit more about it, going out to those bases that have vets that are transitioning. We're partnering with Hiring for Heroes, which is funded by the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. And they host these events to provide resources and kind of show opportunities both with companies and other service providers to these veterans so that they, when they leave the military, they know where they're going to go, they know where they're going to move, they're going to have a job, they're going to be connected to resources, and we want to be a part of that.
Well, I'm excited because everybody wants to hire veterans.
Everybody wants to hire veterans.
Why is that? Why are veterans so coveted and sought after?
I think especially here in Wisconsin, Stephanie, because if you think about the training that they're receiving in the military, first of all, when they raised their hand and they decided to serve their country, they already proved their caliber. These men and women dedicated part of their lives to serving all of us, and we owe it to them. A little bit of that. The rest of it is just the skills and the culture and what they're looking for in their quality of life. Wisconsin, our companies, our communities, we have it here.
I couldn't agree with you more. And now you just got back from Camp Pendleton in California.
Yes, ma'am.
Tell us what you were doing there.
We went down to a center where the Marines were allowed to come and talk to us and interview us, and we could accept resumes or just dedicate them over to the online application that we have that all the businesses in Wisconsin are signing up for, and make it a streamlined process. And all the other businesses that were out there, they're recruiting for their business. Wisconsin, the sales pitch is like, hey, the whole state wants you. We want you to come and live in Wisconsin, be part of Wisconsin, give to our communities and to our businesses, and it's a perfect fit. That's the main thing.
So you're literally there as someone is, I don't want to say ending their career, but their service time is over.
Sure.
They're leaving the base, and you're right there.
That's correct. And they said about 200 to 220 exit weekly. So it is nonstop where people are transitioning out of the service, and we're there to accept them. And it's a big leap for somebody to transition out of the service. I did 22 active duty years, and the only thing I was ever afraid of in the Marine Corps was getting out because I never done it before.
Wow.
It's a big blind step.
Okay, so were the men and women that were getting out, were they just stunned to have people from Wisconsin there saying, hello, thank you, and we want you here?
It was impressive. As a service member, to see other service members just wowed that a state was very accepted of them, it was really nice.
Wow. Okay, and I'm totally ignoring you over here, and my apologies. And so were you out at Camp Pendleton as well?
I was as well. Yes, I was. I was as well.
And tell us what your experience was like out there.
Experience was 3 very decent-sized events in 2 days. And we had the best exhibit in the room. People were a magnet to what we had, and it was an interesting proposition because there was no other state, like Tim was saying, it's all businesses there, but Wisconsin wants you. Wisconsin wants you in a big way. We have jobs here. We have high quality of living, low cost living, and the jobs are just tremendous here. The amount of opportunities, the business climate is really good, and that says something. When you get down to the specifics and you talk about, Oshkosh Trucks is flanking us on our left side. We can hand them over to there. Oh, by the way, the Oshkosh Trucks makes the Marine Corps 7-ton. That means something to them. That resonates with them. That not just Oshkosh, but other businesses are making big planting roots in Wisconsin, and that means something to those service members. And they want to know why, and they're curious, and that gets the conversation started.
Well, we have such a rich history in this state. So to the fellas, I'm going to put you on the spot. I'm getting out of Camp Pendleton, and I want to, get a job. What do you say about Wisconsin when I ask you, what's there to do?
The beautiful thing that they put together in the advertisement is there's a big template that they can look at and see pictures of Wisconsin. So the outdoors to the city life, to Summerfest, the paddle boarding, and it just resonates with all aspects of the Marines that we came across, the corpsmen, the airmen, the sailors. All of them were like, oh, hey, I like the city life. And there was definitely things that we could talk to them about that, as well as IS or IT jobs, or hey, I want to go back to school, and oh, did you know Wisconsin has their own GI Bill? So once you exhausted your federal benefits, the state of Wisconsin now also provides you a GI Bill to go back to college. Oh, and the Hire to Heroes bill was just passed to where we can get you certification in different technology or different skills to get a job and OJT with a company. So they were just blown away that Wisconsin, mind you, has 23 out of 26 benefits, which is the #1 state in the country. The nearest one, I believe, is 19. So they were amazed that Wisconsin has more veteran benefits than anyone else in the country.
Well, and Tricia, what can you tell us about that? Because what they said is true, and I never knew that till recently about the veterans in Wisconsin with these benefits.
Absolutely. Well, actually, even back up just a second. I think one of the cool things about Wisconsin, and Stephanie, we're both part of this, so we know that, is this partnership of state agencies that has come together and really joined forces to promote the state, to provide these connections to our vets. And then these folks that are here, Andy works with WEDC, and he is in our underwriting team, not our marketing team.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Tim here is with WPS, and he met us on Friday and said, I want to help.
Wow.
So just the character of that, but that's what we're about. And also when you talk about the benefits and why we want to make this and keep this the best place for veterans, that 23 out of 26 federally recognized programs that we offer, it's something. It speaks volumes for why we're so committed to veterans. Our companies, the companies that we meet with, they have their own programs. Tim heads up a program at WPS. We met with Schneider, Oshkosh, so many across the state that are doing this on their own, and we're helping to support those efforts as well.
So how can veterans watching get more information, one, on these work opportunities, but two, all of the benefits?
Absolutely.
Because I bet there are veterans in the state that don't know all of the benefits that are available to them.
I'm going to give three things. First of all is the website, inwisconsin.com/veterans. Second, reach out to the county veteran service officer. There's 72. Every county in the state has one. They can help plug into resources, as well as talk to folks in your company that can help plug you in. On the end of the website, there's actually a place where people can go, click through, find a job, and they can enter in their military service code. So not just a regular job search. They're searching by what they learned in the military to connect them to the jobs here in Wisconsin.
Wow. So don't think I forgot about you. So you also, I'm in Camp Pendleton. You gotta give me the sell on Wisconsin. What do you say?
Well, I'm gonna say it's a three-legged stool. Right? You lose any one of those legs, and you're gonna fall over. And so on Wisconsin is we want you to be in Wisconsin because you're gonna have a high quality of life and a low cost of living. Kind of with that is we're very approachable. We're Wisconsin nice. You come here, you can grab a little foothold in a community and really plant some roots. Or you can get drowned out in a big city somewhere. So there's that. The state benefits that we have are second to none. We're #1, speaks for itself. And then the third thing is, again, all those job opportunities that are out there, all these jobs are going unfilled. We want to run those veterans up to the top of the flagpole and say, we want you to go to the top of the list to fill those seats in those empty jobs because Wisconsin wants you here.
I'm signing on. That's all I'm saying. I am signing on. And Tricia, you had mentioned how different state agencies are working together. And that is so true because, at tourism, why would you think we're working with our military, our veterans? Well, we are, because we want them here, and we have adaptive equipment for state parks or for skydiving. We want them here and happy. What is the Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation doing?
Absolutely. So one of the cool things, with the companies that we're working with that are trying to recruit veterans, many of them have, called themselves veteran friendly, and they are. They want veterans, they appreciate them, but there's a difference between being veteran friendly and being veteran ready. And so having people on your staff that understand what sort of resources a veteran, especially those just transitioning out of the military, may need to be connected to help them be successful, not just in their jobs, but in their lives. What other types of opportunities they might be looking for, what special skill sets that they bring to the company, to the community even. And so that's kind of the add-on to the program that's come out of this partnership with the Department of Veterans Affairs, Department of Workforce Development and Tourism.
Well, I cannot thank all of you for being here today. You guys are just awesome. Thank you for coming to the Badger Bash today. You rock. Let's hear it for our great folks getting veterans to Wisconsin. Thank you so much. Yay! I like this. Thank you. Thank you. So now we're going to hear about a nationwide organization that is helping injured vets heal and stay active through adaptive sports. Let's take a closer look at an organization called Oscar Mike.
I served in the Marine Corps from 2000 to 2004.
11 years U.S. Navy. I was home on leave and a deer ran out in front of me.
It was a motorcycle crash, broke my neck.
Broke my neck at the C6 level. I was paralyzed.
They suffer very severe injuries, spinal cord injuries, amputations. Wisconsin plays a huge role in the Oscar Mike Foundation. In military jargon, OM are Oscar and Mike. That literally means on the move, because we want injured veterans to be Oscar Mike. We want them to be on the move.
This is about healing and growing, rebuilding the sense of community and brotherhood.
Adaptive sports can save lives.
The most important thing is to get around other people with similar injuries. It helps you with the possibilities of what you can do.
And that's our goal, is to take guys who have been injured and get you back on the move, show you that you can still live a life.
Skydiving with these guys was awesome. Something that I didn't even know that I could do. It was amazing.
Skydive Midwest in Sturtevant, Wisconsin. We run a Spartan race at Miller Park, Spartan race at Lambeau Field. An annual race we run at Lake Geneva called the Abominable Snow Race. The very first event is Intro to Flight, and it's not just putting you in a plane and flying you around. We give you the controls, and the pilot says, "You ready to take off? All right, pull that lever."
The quality of life from 2 months ago to now is a lot better. It's crazy that short of a span has been that big of a difference for me, but it really has.
It's not just about the adaptive sport. We make it more about how it's going to make them feel, how it's going to change their lives. And not just a mind kind of change, it's a mind, body, soul kind of change.
Your life isn't over. There's still a lot of really cool stuff you can do.
Here at the compound, Oscar Mike truly wants to capture the family atmosphere.
Here, there's a bunch of guys that you can talk to.
Being around each other, the camaraderie, it has changed lives. We want you to take the time and reflect while you're here and be able to say, all right, I really let myself go this week. I learned to trust people again.
It started with Oscar Mike for sure. The way I feel today and my outlook in the future started with Oscar Mike.
What an amazing organization. Now we're going to hear about another powerful organization that is utilizing the skills of our military vets to make a difference in communities all across the globe. Founded by former UW Badger football player Jake Wood, Team Rubicon helps provide relief for disaster zones in the U.S. and abroad. Here's more about Team Rubicon.
I look back fondly on my time as a football player. I certainly wasn't as good a football player as I would have hoped to be, but it also taught me a lot. It was a period in my life where I grew tremendously as a human being, and I owe a lot of who I am to my time playing football. I had always considered joining the military prior to going to UW, and Pat Tillman's passing right before my senior year just had a really big impact on me. The decisions he'd made walking away from the sport and serving his country. One of the things that people don't understand is just how much training our men and women in uniform get, some of the best training in the world, and when they come out, they're these incredible assets that people should really be looking to tap into. When we went down to Haiti, we really had no intention of starting a nonprofit organization. We just wanted to help.
It's infected? Yeah.
We saw just how powerful the concept of leveraging
We just need to find locations.
military experience was for disaster response.
You need to pull your foot back as far as you can.
And so we came back and we committed ourselves to building it. You get to see the impact that you're having every single day in the lives of the people that you're helping and in the lives of the people who are out there doing the volunteering. There's more need out there than we can address. There are more veterans coming back from these wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. These disasters are happening more frequently. They're more devastating than ever. There's a lot of people who get left behind. The American public moves on and they're left trying to pick up the pieces of their lives.
Ladies and gentlemen, the recipient of the Pat Tillman Award for Service.
I got a phone call from a member of my team and he said, hey Jake, I just got a random phone call from a woman who says she's a producer for the ESPYs and she is curious whether you'd be interested in receiving the Pat Tillman Award. Jake, I assume I know what your answer is going to be, but would you be interested in receiving the Pat Tillman Award? And I said, yes, of course, it'd be the honor of my life. Pat Tillman had such a huge impact on me that it was really both surprising and humbling, certainly one of the more special moments over the last decade. The future of Team Rubicon is to be bigger, be better. We can make our communities more resilient and we can improve the lives of America's veterans. I tell people Wisconsin's got the best people in America. I'm proud to be from the Midwest. People from Wisconsin are hardworking, good human beings. They care about one another, they take care of one another. That's in many ways what we should hope and aspire to in all of our communities across the country. On Wisconsin.
What an inspirational story from a UW-Madison graduate. Congratulations to Jake on being awarded the Pat Tillman Award. It could not have gone to a more deserving person. Now, as we get closer to game time, let's get a live view of the crowds gathering at Union South. All right, let's check them out. Hello! They're crazy, I'm telling you, these crowds are crazy. All right, here we're going down on the streets. I love it. And it is neat with the Badger game because you get folks from all over the country that have season tickets. I just love seeing them and a Badger attire everywhere. You know what's bad is I do not know Western Kentucky's colors. So I'm just seeing a lot of red and white and I am loving it. And there we go. Well, welcome Badger Bash. That's our folks up there on the third floor of Union South overlooking the city. And that's the great thing about Badger games is we don't just party in one part of the city. They are downtown, they're by the Capitol, they're at Union South, they're right at Camp Randall Stadium. It is an absolute blast, and if you have never been to a Badger game, you gotta check it out. It is electric, it is fun, and of course, not only will you see a great game and great kids on that field, who, yes, sports is very, very important here, but so are academics. You're also going to hear one of the best bands in the country. So if you love music, you got to come here for the band. They are amazing, and they're going to be coming up shortly. Thanks for the street view, you guys. I love it. Folks are coming in. Now, aren't Badger fans the best? I think they're the best. If you're a Badger fan, tell us in the comment section why you love cheering on our beloved Badgers. Now, Wisconsin athletes have a tradition of giving back. Jared Aberderis is a former Badger wide receiver and went on to play with the Green Bay Packers and the Detroit Lions. A native of Watoma, he returned to his hometown where he works as a financial associate for Thrivent Financial. He and his wife, Rachel, were looking for a way to continue to give back to the community that has supported them throughout his football career. Together, they started the SO Foundation, which stands for Supporting Others to Win. Here's more about the SO Foundation.
Jared Aberderis is in lane 4.
It's crazy.
Aberderis flying over the hurdles.
I was supposed to go to Madison for track.
Wow, what a show.
A couple weeks before the season started. That's a new state record. I just said, hey, I'm coming here for track, can I walk on for football? Showed up for camp, and I was just oblivious to what camp was and at that level what football was like. I was thinking it's going to be, fun, and it was really the opposite of that at that point, especially as a freshman. All the Rose Bowls were great. All the Big Ten championships were great. The memories that we had from there were special. The draft process was tough. Fourth round goes by, nothing. Fifth round, nothing. Am I going to get picked? Like, when am I going to go? I got a call from, Green Bay, pick up, and it's the Packers, and it was just surreal. Now, just looking back, it was an awesome experience. Obviously, you wish things would have went differently in the NFL, but injuries are tough when you got injuries that come up, and even more as I get further out of it, I'll probably look back and really enjoy and cherish those memories even more. When I went to Detroit, that kind of solidified what I always knew, is that I love Wisconsin and the people here, and so that's what made me start my foundation. The diversity that Wisconsin has, there's big cities, there's small towns, really in all the different communities. People are really trying to help strengthen that. Wisconsin takes care of their own. Soul Foundation, supporting others to win. My mission was to help people in need. Where can I fit in, and where are the missing pieces to the puzzle, and how can I help? So we partner with the Human Services Department of Washington County, because the Human Services knows the needs of the community, whether it's adults, they lose jobs and they need to get back to work, whether it's helping kids that don't have the privilege to go to different camps in the summer.
We're grateful that they're able to come alongside us and partner with us and help us to reach out to families. And we believe that kids should have fun. Our motto is that we want to make this the best week of a kid's life.
Friendships and growing themselves, give those kids an opportunity that they wouldn't have had, and hopefully that's a great experience for them that they look forward to every year.
They learn life lessons, they learn how to love one another and how to love God and share life experiences with one another.
The goal is, as we grow, to be able to keep going to different counties and use the model that we've created. Ideally, it'd be nice to reach the whole state of Wisconsin.
We'll be hearing even more from the Soul Foundation in the future. Our Travel Wisconsin team has been down with the crowds all afternoon, getting fans excited about tonight's game. Let's head down to Orchard Street as fans march to the historic gates of Camp Randall Stadium. Oh, all right. You can see the crowds are starting to gather. I love that sea of red. There's nothing like Badger red. And you know what? Madison really does, year after year after year, it is voted #1 college town for football. And if you've never been to Madison, Wisconsin, you have got to come. From the gorgeous state capitol, and a little trivia for you with our state capitol, is that it's just 3 inches shorter than our nation's capital. And you are not supposed to have a capital bigger than our country's capital, our national capital. So that's a little trivia about Wisconsin. It's absolutely gorgeous if you've never toured the state capitol, and that tour is free. We're looking down at Union South. You can see the crowds gathering, and they're gathering because the band is getting ready to come on down. And the UW marching band is truly one of the best in the country year after year. For 50 years, the fabulous Mike LaCrone has been directing, and he's awesome. So in our last video of the night, we are highlighting another Wisconsin athlete who's doing big things on the world stage. Matt Scott is a UW Whitewater alum and 4-time Paralympian, winning a gold medal in the Rio Paralympics in wheelchair basketball. He's been nominated for an ESPY for Best Male Athlete with a Disability, and he was one of the faces of Nike's famous Just Do It commercials. I had the pleasure of catching up with him here in Madison. Here is Matt Scott. You travel around the world. What is it about Wisconsin that just is in your blood?
I went to the University of Wisconsin-Whitewater, and I made some of my best friends. I had some of my best memories. Everything about Wisconsin just makes me come back. I mean, I travel to Europe every year to play basketball, and every summer I come back to vacation here in Wisconsin.
Well, and tell me about your basketball career, because it really did get the ball rolling in Whitewater.
Absolutely, it did. Played 4 years for the UW Whitewater, won 3 national championships, was able to make on the national team, and after making Team USA, was able to go over to Europe and play professionally, which was a really, really good opportunity for me, and it all kicked off here in Wisconsin.
And so that's what I love, is you've been around the world, and this is still your place.
Right. Whenever I have time, I always come back, because you have places like Madison, you have places like Milwaukee that I love, and I spend lots of time there.
Well, what was it like to represent Team USA and get that gold medal?
So I've been playing the game for a long time, and winning a gold medal is like, it's the epitome of being a wheelchair basketball player. You want to play to win a gold medal. I've worked so hard for it. I've been on the national team for about 12 years. That was my first time to win a gold.
That is so cool.
Thank you very much.
And are you going to win another one?
Oh, I'm going back for 2020.
Is that right?
Absolutely, yes, ma'am.
Awesome. You have something called spina bifida.
I do.
What is that?
So spina bifida is a congenital birth defect. It affects my L4 and L5 in my spinal column, and it limits me the ability to walk. I can't walk, but I still have the ability to bear weight. I still have full functions and things like that, but it takes my balance away a bit. But it's a congenital birth defect. It's actually the #1 birth defect in the world.
Is that right?
It is.
And it hasn't stopped you in any way?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Living as an individual with a disability, being able to travel around with my friends and see these places that I'm mentioning, it wouldn't be possible unless accessibility was taken into consideration. For example, I go up to Door County every summer with my friends where they got engaged. Actually, the place where they got engaged, there's a small beach. It actually has a place where I can just go right out. It's a little plank that I can just push right on. Thinking about those types of things for disabled individuals to get there, to come out on the beach, because I wouldn't be able to move through sand.
Right.
So taking those things into consideration, it's super important.
So I know I had called you ahead of time and asked if you would bring the gold medal for me to see. Do you have it?
I have something for you. It's right here.
Oh my gosh, this is heavy.
It is a little heavy. You hear that?
What's in it?
Okay, so there's a certain amount of pieces inside of this gold medal. So if I were a blind athlete and you were to take my gold medal and replace it with a silver medal, you'd be like, no, that's not my medal. You would be able to understand just by the pieces inside of it and the sound that it makes, you'd be able to identify your medal.
Well, we just couldn't be prouder of you and all of your accomplishments.
I really appreciate that.
You are awesome.
Thank you so much.
Is a class act. If you didn't know, Matt Scott played for wheelchair basketball at UW Whitewater, and he brought them to 3 national wheelchair championships. He's just incredible. But so are all the guests that joined us today. So a big thank you to everyone who came out and talked with us today. And thanks to you, our viewers, for tuning in tonight. Now remember, if you need any information on Wisconsin, on the great places to go and to visit, on our 15,000 lakes, rivers, and streams, our 2 great lakes, Lake Michigan and Lake Superior, you just go to travelwisconsin.com. We've got it all there. And now I can tell you, the energy is starting to hype up here a little bit more. We are getting ready for the game. Now, we want you to check out travelwisconsin.com and see our premier golf courses. Check out planning your trip to Madison to catch a Badger game for yourself, and of course any place you might be headed to in Wisconsin. Now, as we say goodbye, we have a special treat for you. We have a live performance of the UW Marching Band. They're headed up by the legendary Mike LaCrone. Mike LaCrone, he will fly over an audience in concert. The marching band, they are never out of step, but he has been director for 50 years at Madison. So he's going to be retiring. This is his last season as the marching band director, so we're excited for him. We want to thank you so much for tuning in. It has been a blast spending time with you. Go Badgers! Let's get to the game.
Who wants a football? I got 2 more. Some t-shirts real quick. On a count of 3, scream for t-shirts. 1, 2, 3. T-shirts. Upper deck, rapid fire. I'm talking quick, people. Real quick. Hey, you got wanted. Two more. Who wants the drums. Okay, I think we got everything we need, right?
We got horns.
Trombones. Trumpets. What else could we be missing, ladies and
Spirit
gentlemen?
Squad. What are we missing?
What do we need? We need some tubas. Where in the world could those tubas have gone? Where, oh, where could they be? Wait, I think I hear something. Oh yeah, it's coming from this direction. Do you guys hear it? Here they come, strutting their stuff as always. Ladies and gentlemen, welcoming the UW Tuba section.
Clap them all the way up to the stage. Clap them on through.
We're gonna clap them in, you ready? But we're missing the most important parts. Many of you may have heard by now that Mike Leckrone is in his 50th and now final year. He has announced his retirement will come at the end of this year. Now, most of us here are big Mike Leckrone fans, but some of you might have been waiting to jump on the bandwagon. And this year, we're going to give you that opportunity here at Badger Bash. You see, each week, Mike is going to roll in on a wagon of some sorts. Every one of them will have a little different meaning. And every time he does so, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to welcome him in with the greatest round of applause that he has received in his 50 years, because he has earned it. So without further ado, let's welcome in Mike Leckrone!
Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you see pink on either side of you, make sure it's only on your left or right. Clear those aisles now. Otherwise, you will get run over by Mike in this little red wagon.
He's got a little red wagon that's more of a stroller than a wagon at this point, I think. He's invisible. A man of the people. Give him a high five on the white pass. Mike Leckrone and his little red wagon. Clear a path up to the stage. Ladies and gentlemen, the director of the UW Marching Band and a living legend, give it up for Mike Leckrone! You would have thought they could have released before the horse. Thank you all for being here. It's great. Isn't it great to get the season started again? I can't wait to get going because it looks like we're going to have a good one. Anybody here from Kentucky, Western Kentucky? Anybody here? I thought might have had to put your shoes on. Anyhow, we're going to play their school song for them anyhow. You can tell them about it. Well, first concert of the number, we're going to do a crowd favorite, I think. We're going to do Jump. Well, it's not the one you're thinking of, though. This is a Van Halen tune called Jump. So this is our version of a Van Halen tune called Jump, which everybody wants to hear.